Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Live from Harlem in New York City, it's me, Alex Bennett, and it's the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to Larry Bubbles Brown. Hi, Larry.
Hello, Alex.
How you doing?
Good. We're going through our San Francisco. Our seasons are like rain, wind, fog, and then there's 5 days in September where it gets to like 120. You ever know like that? Nothing's air conditioned in this city. There's like 5 days in October or September where it's like really hot.
Well, I used to refer to San Francisco as the world's only air-conditioned city. You know, there's always a patina of air conditioning from the fog and so on.
Right, yeah.
You know, I always like the weather in San Francisco, but then
really?
again,
wow, I hate it. Jeez.
It's the weather I grew up with, although it's probably changed a bit since I was a kid, because I was born back in the Plasticine era, and you know. But
we were born during the tar pit formation.
Yes, right. When your name was Ugg, I believe, Larry Ugg Brown. Yeah. You get to feel a little ancient now? You getting to feel that way?
Oh yeah. I saw this interview. Maybe I probably mentioned this about David Letterman, who says. 3 or 4 years older than me, but he says he can't stop thinking about death.
Yeah, well, me too. I mean, come on. What event is in your future? Right?
One thing for sure.
One thing for sure. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to live, although I went to my doctor yesterday, and I see him now. I saw him after 2 months, and now he's going to see me in another 3 months, you know, for this leukemia thing. And they just keep checking up on me to make sure nothing's changed. And they say, oh, well, this is low, or your platelets are low, and blah, 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 blah. But none of this is going to kill you. All right? So they're just sitting there waiting for this leukemia to hit, you know, and then they'll give me one pill, he said. Well, he actually shows me with his fingers apart how little the pill is. You should take one little pill every day and you'll be just fine.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
But, you know, I mean, constantly have to go to the doctor and get blood drawn. And figure maybe there's a vampire upstairs in Mount Sinai. That's why they need all the blood. But, I mean, they take like four vials of blood.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and then they send it upstairs. Here's what's different. Remember in the old days, the doctor would send your blood out and say, well, call me in a couple of days. We should get the results, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty common occurrence. I have a watch here that tells me when I'm getting messages. And as I'm sitting, waiting after getting the blood drawn, waiting for the doctor to appear, and talking to his assistant for a while, my watch goes off. You have messages from Mount Sinai. All the blood tests are coming back. This is like 5 minutes after I gave the blood.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, my doctor has everything, and he goes, oh, this is up and this is down, and, you know, your creatine levels are a little up, you know, but but you just waiting for that one little thing that they find that's going to be the thing that gets me, you know.
Exactly.
And none of this stuff so far is getting me. I mean, I have leukemia. That's a form. It's a blood cancer. Will it kill me? No, you're going to die with it, not from it.
Yeah, I guess there's so many different kinds of leukemia, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yes. This is a thing called chronic lymphatic leukemia, CLL, and it is. They don't do anything about it unless they see that you're having some problems, that you're having symptoms. And he didn't see anything with the blood. He said your such and such is up. I can't remember what it was. Your white cell count or something. And I said, well, how bad is it? He said, well, it's up. He said, it's about 18,000. I said, well, when do you start worrying about it? He says, when it hits 200,000.
Oh, shit.
I went, okay, well, I guess we're not worrying about that one, right? He said, no, we're not worrying about that one. You know, but just because stuff goes up doesn't mean it's dangerous. It's just a matter of how much it went up, you know. So.
I always remember that show called Run for Your Life with Ben Gazzara, and he had a form of leukemia. They said, Ben, you've got 3 years left to live. You got to live your life. So he's jumping out of airplanes and doing everything he can for 3 years.
And solving murders.
Yeah, I remember that, Ben Gazzara.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'm going to do if they tell me I have 3 years of my life to live is go out and solve murders. You know? But no. You know, we were talking. Marjorie and I were talking about it last night because we're watching this show that was done in England, maybe 10, 15 years ago. They have a show over there called Casualty, which is a doctor drama, much like ER was here. And they did a series of about 3 years in which they did one episode the first year, 3 episodes the second year, and 4 episodes the third year. And what they did is they set it back in like 1901. And so you got to see what a hospital was like in 1901.
Wow.
And Marjorie and I were saying, you know, you've got this leukemia thing. She said, how many years back in 1901 you'd be a dead man by now? You know, if you got the prostate problem that you had earlier a couple of years ago, you'd be dead by now because they had nothing they could do about it, you know. And so medicine has gotten so incredibly better that a lot of these diseases, I mean, no, we haven't cured cancer, but people can survive with it. And
that's definitely live longer. Yeah.
You definitely live longer. Yeah, I'd be dead by now. I mean, with a couple of things I got, yeah. No, you got leukemia, Alex. Write your will out and see us next month. Just see how you're coming along in dying. You know. So I mean, I'm not dying. So you know, and then with the prostate thing, I had, you know, what I've been getting is I've been getting cancer, which was always a big fear of my life. But every cancer I've gotten is pussy cancer. You know, it's not something that's going to kill me.
Not all cancers kill, no.
Well, I always ask that question of the doctor. I asked my doctor with the prostate. I went to the oncologist, and he was going to do whatever he's going to do, the seeds and the radiation. And I said to him, be honest with me, Doc, is this the thing that's going to kill me? And he looked at me like I was a moron and went, no. You know. And then I asked the same question of this doctor. I says, is this the thing that's going to kill me? He says, no, you're going to die with it, not from it. You know. So whatever's going to get me, I'm still it's waiting in the wings. Some disease is auditioning for the job.
Yeah, I don't want to die by something that's really sudden, like a heart attack or a stroke.
Well, maybe, why not?
Well, if it was quick, I guess that would be good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why not? Because, I mean, you don't know what's happened to you. It just happens. Boom. Whereas, you've got leukemia. You've got 3 years to live. Run for your life. 3 years to live. That kind of is not as the kind of thing you want to hear. You know, like you're going to die for sure. You've got pancreatic cancer. You're going to be gone in 6 months. Wouldn't you rather get that heart attack?
I guess that would be better, but
yeah.
So you could take care of all your paperwork if you had a few months ago. So.
What'd you say?
You could take care of all your paperwork.
What do I want to take care of my paperwork for? What? I'm going to pay off all my bills? Are you out of your mind?
You could run your credit cards up.
Exactly. As I told my business manager the other day, was telling me how to spend my newly found money. I said, why do I need to put it in some kind of an account where it's getting interest? I said, I can't spend this money if I blew it like crazy for the next 10 years, you know? I said, I have nothing, no money to leave to anybody, right? So, I mean, my feeling is I want to have fun with it, you know? Do something with it. I don't want to leave any of it on the table when I go.
So you actually got the money now?
Yeah, I got the money finally.
Okay. It took a while.
It took a year, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, and then the fun part is, of course, now you're trying to deposit a huge amount of money in a bank, right? So I go to the bank, cash the check, and the teller has to call the manager over because she doesn't know exactly how to deposit this much money. So he okayed it and everything like that. And he said, all right, I've just okayed it, and it won't go into your account for a week because they have to make sure the check is good. You know, they actually did it in about 3 days, but, you know, still. It's not like you can exactly get rid of money that easy, you know, or
they must have been
deposit it.
impressed.
Well, I'm surprised. You know what I was surprised about? I'm not going to tell people how much money it was, but it is a sizable amount. I think I've told you.
Yeah, a life-changing amount.
A life-changing amount, okay? So consequently, you know, I want to put that money in the bank. But what these people did, and I don't understand why. This is a legal firm, you know, that handles wills and trusts and things like that. So the check came to me. How do you think they got the check to me?
Mail?
Yes. Now, there is such a thing as direct deposit, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you direct deposit, I wouldn't have to wait a week for the check to clear. It would just automatically be in my account. No, I get an envelope. Not only is it not, they didn't lick the envelope shut, they put a piece of tape over it
Wow.
that was almost falling off. And inside is this check for an incredible amount of money.
Jesus.
You know, and I'm saying to myself, really? You take a chance like this? I mean, about a couple of months ago in this whole process, I had to go out and get a piece of paper notarized, all right? So I went out down the street, notarized it. I said, where's the closest mailbox? They said, right here. You can put it right here. So I was the UPS store. And I gave them the envelope, and they put it in the little mail slot, and they said the guy picks up the mail every day, right? So now I get a hold of them a couple of days later and say, have you gotten it yet? They didn't get the check. They didn't get the notarized piece of mail from me. And I said, well, what's this all about, you know? So finally they had me do it by sending it, you know, through a PDF file, a small file that is the actual document, to take care of it. All right? Well, I had trouble with the mail system, just simply mailing a letter back to them. So how do they know when they're mailing a check to me, it's going to even get to me?
I said that's very risky.
I don't understand why they didn't call me up and say, what's your your number at your bank for your direct deposit, and I'd give it to them, and then they'd simply directly deposit it to my account. But no, they send a check in an envelope that hasn't been sealed, except for a little piece of Scotch tape in one little part of it to hold the flap down. Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't know. This is not the way I would do business. Would you?
No, it's. You should have taken a picture of the check. That's an impressive figure.
I took a scanned the check, so I have a copy of it.
Okay.
It's for my memory, you know. But I thought about it and I went, gee, this is wonderful. You know, what a wonderful treat for Marjorie and I. We've got this money to do something with. If we both are well enough to do it, you know. Because
but what are you going to do?
We want to take some vacations, and I'm not walking as well as I used to, you know. But anyway, you know, it's a wonderful thing, and it makes you feel warm and fuzzy. But the fact of the matter is, somebody had to die for me to get this.
Right.
And it's somebody I cared a lot about. And I really, in spite of the wonderful thing he left us, the wonderful legacy he left us, I'm sorry. I would rather he were alive right now rather than, you know, well, he's not in the ground. They cremated him. But it you know, so it's a double-edged sword. You know, part of me, so happy, thank you so much, Shecky. I appreciate it. And the other part of me goes, but why did you have to die, you motherfucker? You know? Because I didn't.
Died young.
He told me about this will. He had made it out 2 months before he died. And I said to him at the time, I said, well, it's very nice of you to give me that much. I said, but quite frankly, I'm never going to be alive to collect it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, because at my age, who knows how much longer I'm going to be around? And I said, but thank you anyway. That's very nice of you. And I just put it at the back of my mind. I mean, this is like, so I'm in the will, you know. I'm never going to be alive. 2 months later, he's dead. So, you know, all of a sudden I've got this windfall, and it's a windfall based on the fact that somebody that I cared the world about had to die in order for me to get it. And so it's a double-edged sword. It really is. I mean, I don't know how would you react to that?
It's it makes you'd rather have the guy still be alive.
Yeah. So there's a certain part of you that feels guilty about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, I said, well, what would Shecky want me to spend it on? You know. Well, he certainly wouldn't want me to spend it on giving it out to charities and things like that, although if I wanted to, I can. But he used to love traveling. He used to love taking cruises. So what are we planning on doing now? Taking a cruise. You know, it's kind of in honor of him.
Yeah, you should.
You know, this is what he would have wanted me to do. But it's still it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's nice to get it, and I'm sure anybody who's ever gotten a mention in a will and gotten or were the beneficiaries of a will probably have all pretty much felt the same way. Well, it's great to have this money, but why did Uncle Bob have to die? You know, I'd rather have Uncle Bob around instead of this money. But you know, I would say, of course, you'd also sound greedy if I said, oh, you know, well, I'm glad Shecky's gone now because I'm getting all this money. You know, so I'm not. That's not the way I feel, and that's not the way I approach it. But still, it's a strange kind of thing that happens. You and I have talked about death before.
Many times.
You say that Letterman said that every day when he wakes up he thinks about death?
He just says he's thinking about death a lot, because he said that he said when you hit your mid-70s, you can't help but think about it, I guess.
Well, you know what happens is as you get to your age, more specifically my age, there's a whole bunch of people behind you who have died. You know.
Yeah, I look at celebrity death. There's so many famous people that died much younger than we are.
Much younger, But even if it's not younger, I mean, a lot of times you hear about a death of somebody who was older than you are, but you've known them all your life because they were part of your, they were a star or a music person or something like that who you enjoyed. And you're going, oh, God, they're dead now, So everybody starts going. Now here I am. I'm 84. How many people have I lost? No, I lost Shecky. I lost my friend Steve Gruberg. I've lost Gilbert Gottfried. I've lost Richard Lewis. I mean, more specifically in your life, Robin Williams.
Bob Saget,
another one I forgot. What's his name? The guy who told me to cut my hair short. Bob. Oh God, the guy. He was in a car crash. He had every cancer known to mankind. The thing that finally killed him was Robert Schimmel, who I love dearly. I love that guy. And you start hearing about these people. Kinnison. It was just, everybody thought he would die from drugs, but didn't think it was going to be in somebody else's body.
Yeah, he got killed by a drunk driver.
Yeah. So, it's just all these people that have gone, and I'm still here. In fact, I have very few friends left, My friend Steve was kind of my best friend. That was a guy I saw all the time. And he went. So then who was the next one in line? There's somebody else who was my best friend. Funny, I can't remember my best friends now. But finally we got down to Shecky. And Shecky was still alive. And I said to him, you better not die because you're my last best friend. And he went and died. So that's not...
Yeah, it was like Mort Saul died at 94, and he had just lost, I think, everybody he knew except his last friend was Woody Allen.
Yeah. And it's just that my life now is consumed every day. Every weekend they run the Sunday program, CBS Sunday Morning, and they do a little obituary section. And they say, this person died, and this person died, and here's how old they were. And I just sit there, and I look at it. And I did this for years anyway. I always used to look at the obituaries to see at what age people were dying today.
Oh, I love the obituaries.
Yeah. Well, I remember I used to do an obituary segment on the show.
I remember that, yeah.
And it was an obsession I had with how old are people when they're dying. And when I had a day that was particularly young, it bothered me.
Right, yeah.
Did you read the obituaries every day?
I did, yeah. That's why I like the newspapers.
You read the big ones they write up. Those are people who were famous, But then,
yeah, I'm like you, though. I always looked at the date. I like to see how old they were. And
did you look at the little ones, the ones that people pay for?
Yeah. I looked at all of them.
There are a lot of those. Sometimes in the New York Times, they took up 3 pages,
That'd be expensive.
Yeah. Well, what happens is it's all part of the funeral service. You go to a funeral home, they do the whole thing for you, and including placing the item in the paper, the notice in the paper. But I used to read those a lot. I used to read them. And I used to do the death segment on the show, and I think at some point I stopped doing it, because what happened was we went to an event that Live 105 was doing or something like that, and I'm standing there, and this girl comes up to me and says, "You're Alex Bennett, aren't you?" She's got these crazy eyes, right?
Not good.
And she said, "I hate you." I said, "Well, yeah, join the club, Yes, you hate me." I said, and that's all well and good. Why? She said, because you made fun of my father when he died because you read him in your obituaries on the show. And I thought she was literally going to pull a gun out and shoot me. It was that crazy a thing. And I had a bodyguard with me. And he and the general manager of the station are over in the corner looking at me, laughing at this girl who's come up to me. They don't know what's going on. And I'm kind of darting my eyes over there like, get her out of here. Get her out of here. And they finally did. But, I mean, I was frightened for my life with that one.
Wow, that's scary.
And that's why I think I stopped doing the obituaries. I just figured if I hurt somebody's feelings with it, I don't want to do it, you know.
Right.
It's fun while it didn't hurt anybody. Anyway, hey, listen, we're running out of time here. God, talking to you is so easy, you know?
So easy.
And I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is. Well, you can't see him because he isn't hooked up.
No.
Larry.
We will see you next week.
Larry Bubbles Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, thank you so much, Larry. Oh, we love you, Larry. We love you, love you. Oh, boy. Anyway, hello. How are you? It's another day of frustration. We will try and do a program here. I got to admit to you that I'm starting to just wonder whether I should keep doing this any longer, at least these shows, because the number of people that listen to it or watch it is pretty pathetic. I mean, it's a couple of hundred, maybe 300 people a week show eventually, you know, but it just doesn't, that's not a lot, you know, and I enjoy talking to the people that I talk to, and we have a couple of them waiting right now to come on here, and I really keep doing it for them, to be very honest with you, because I really appreciate them and like them. So anyway, I'm looking to see, I can't find something here. I'm looking for something because I have this, see, this is my earphones, and they need to be charged up, and I can't find the right thing to charge them up here. You know, here's another one. That one doesn't work, and that doesn't work. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, see, I found it. Okay. There we go. Now I can charge my earphones. These are those little, you know, earphones that are Bluetooths. And I use them for when I'm, you know, going down the street and I want to hear music while I'm talking and so on. And while I'm walking and want to listen to music, and so I use those. I haven't used them in a while, and so they've been sitting out here uncharged, and I don't want them to die on me, so whatever. Anyway, so today I had to get up early. I'll tell you why I had to get up. Why'd you have to get up early, Alex? Well, why I had to get up early, I had to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. Talk about great service. So I've got this dentist, and the dentist got thrown out of his building that he's in here in New York. Now, not because he didn't pay the rent, you know. He was fine. He was terrific. He was paying his rent and taking care of his rent, you know. But they decided that they didn't want to have any businesses any longer in their building. They just simply wanted to throw everybody out and turn it into condos. I swear to you. So with like a couple of weeks' notice, they told this dentist, you got to move. You got to get out of here. And this is happening a lot in New York. You know, a lot of these big office buildings have had trouble getting people because ever since COVID, what happened was when COVID happened, people started doing work from home. Well, when they went back to work again, nobody wanted to go back. They liked working from home, and so did these companies because you don't have to pay rent for an office, okay? So somebody like my dentist had an office, and the reason they kept an office was because, well, they're a dentist. They need it, right? So they were given like a month or so to move out. And they had a lease and everything, but they had some kind of rider in their lease that if suddenly they decided to do something, you know, anyway, they had to get out of there. So they're moving into another place, but they're not going to be in there for another couple of weeks. So what happens to me the other day? I suddenly feel back here, and I had a tooth I know that was starting to chip a little bit. And then all of a sudden I noticed it had chipped a lot. There wasn't much left of it. So I called the office. I didn't know any of this, and the guy who answered was my dentist, my male dentist. There's a male dentist and a female dentist, and one does the implants and the other one does the other stuff. Okay, so I wanted to come in and have him, take a look at this. It wasn't hurting or anything like that. And he said, "Well, we're not going to be in our new office till about 2 or 3 weeks." And I said, we'll call you back then and let you know. Well, the next day they called me and they said, "You know what we can do? We have an office in Scarsdale." Now, Scarsdale, in case you're not familiar with the New York City area, is some, maybe hours away from New York City. I mean, you have to get out of New York and then you get on the highway and so on. You finally get there, it's an hour. So they said to Marjorie and I, because she had to have a cleaning done in a couple of weeks, "If you and Marjorie would like to, we'll pick you up tomorrow and bring you up to the office." So at 10 o'clock this morning, we had to be ready to go, and he shows up, and we get in the car, and we take a beautiful drive up to Scarsdale. Once you get out of New York City, it's like, it's trees and everything, and it's small little parkways, and it was a wonderful trip going up. But, I mean, it took forever to get things done today, and we were there we left at 10, and we got back home about 3. So we're talking, 5 hours? But I got I got a temporary crown in here, and I'm going to sneeze, that's why I'm doing this. I got a temporary crown, and she fit me for a new crown, and then I have to go back in 2 weeks, and she'll put in the crown, and then she's got to do something with a laser because I'm missing some gum or something. So she'll do the laser thing, and we're taking care of it. But they picked us up, and they're going to pick us up for that too. So, go, all right, okay. If the dentist wants to do that, it's kind of worth it. And it's probably worth it to them, too, because today I spent about $2,000, I think, with everything they're doing. By the way, you remember in the old days, this was interesting. In the old days when they used to, create a new crown for you, or a crown for you, they would put some plaster in your mouth, you would bite down on it, and then they'd wait for it to kind of get hard, and then they'd loosen it up and get it out of your mouth, and then they'd make a little mold, and they send literally, you got a thing of your teeth. Marjorie, I have one over here. Marjorie has one that she saved, and that was a pretty good deal, Well, they don't do that anymore. It's all done digitally now. She's got this thing she puts in my mouth, and she goes around each and every tooth, and blah, 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 blah. And then when you're through, you look over, and there's this thing, right, that looks just like your teeth. It's just like a three-dimensional tooth thing. They send that to the place that makes the crowns. So, I mean, it's all changed. It's all changed, And I had a nice talk with the dentist going up and asking about the dental business and how it is today. And, I got news for you. If you're a dentist, I don't think you're ever going out of business, okay? Unless you don't pay attention to the business. Because, people are going to get toothaches. And when they have toothaches, they're willing to do anything to get rid of the toothache, okay? And if you happen to be a good dentist, man, it's terrific, It's just terrific. Well, I think there's some people getting mad at me saying, "Alex, why the fuck don't you shut up so we can come on here and talk to you?" And, well, I'm sure at least Alan is saying that. Anyway.
You put Charlie to sleep.
Huh?
You put Charlie to sleep.
Oh, really? Well, I'm so glad you stayed awake.
Absolutely. The rest of us are awake.
Hello, Tom Yamaguchi. How are you?
Hello.
Yeah, what's happening with you?
I'm dog sitting.
What do you mean you're dog sitting?
Let's see if I can get Pepper up here. Come on, Pepper.
Pepper?
Pepper.
Oh, isn't that a
Hi,
cutie? Isn't that a cutie?
Yes, she is, isn't she? Yeah.
And you talk to him in dog talk like that. Who's a good dog? Who's a good dog? Who's a good dog? Does he recognize? Does he notice that there's anybody talking to him? What's his name? She. What's her name again?
Pepper.
Pepper. Pepper.
Obviously,
Pepper.
because he's
Hey,
got
Pepper.
fur.
Pepper. Sweetheart. Pepper. Pepper.
Yeah.
Pepper. You good dog, Pepper. You're a good dog, Pepper. Yeah. That's she.
An oblivious dog at the moment. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I'm dog sitting tonight.
Your dog's sitting tonight, and Charlie is. Oh, you got your Einstein shirt on tonight. Does it? Does it say anything?
It just says E equals MC squared.
Ah, good. Yeah, yeah. That was one of the earliest things I ever learned in science. Yeah, it made me feel so smart that I knew what it meant too. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Am I right about that?
Yep.
See?
That's how much energy is in equivalent amount of mass.
Well, that was considered a phenomenal theory in its time, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And it's held up.
Yep. Been proven many times.
Been proven many times.
Speaking of time, people have been noting that on your YouTube, you've been listing the date as January.
What?
This is January instead of May.
Really?
On your YouTube at the bottom.
Well, I can do something about that.
It's been running time for a number of nights.
I just got a message that all they see is you, Alex.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh, that too, yeah.
I don't know why that one is there, but now it's going to go away in a second, I think. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. It says discard changes. No. YouTube says cancel. Wait a minute. I don't want to.
Is 8:10?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Live view. Now let me do this, and let me put this in the 2. Or what's it? What's the month today? 5. Okay.
5. Yeah.
Now let me see. Okay, save. Okay, and now let's see here. It should be changed, I think. All right. I don't do anything right anymore. You know? Yeah. Let me see here. Let me reopen this and let me start that again. And there it is. If you refresh it, it will go to 5 now.
Oh.
Okay. Has it been that way for the last couple of nights, by the way? I'm wondering about that. How long has it been that way?
Yeah.
I just
We
got
went
a
through a
message.
wormhole.
Huh? No, what happens is I have a tendency to, I had a lot of them all the way down. Wow. It was until we got to the end of the month, 4, and then it went 1-1. Somewhere along the line I screwed up, and I didn't see that I had screwed up, and so I kept screwing up every night because I just cut and paste, you know. So I hope you're all happy now. Oh, wait a minute. Now we got to get, we don't have our Zoom people on. There we go.
There you go.
Oh boy, I've had it. You know, I'm no longer able to do this thing with any kind of consistency and decency. So, you know, I didn't have you guys on. I'm too busy. I got the wrong date up there. Picky.
You're doing a lot better than other people,
Really?
like this one.
Oh, really? Really, you screw. Well, it's just that as I've gotten older, it gets more confusing to me. I don't know why. You know, and these are things I do all the time. I think I do them with such repetition that I just, like when I'm making up the thing that changes that from a 5 to a 4 to a 1 or whatever, I just leave the whole number in there. I would just do a duplication of the night before, and then I just say I changed the date, but I usually change just the date in the middle. Okay, and so consequently, if I accidentally made it 1 earlier, it'll stay that way because I'm not even paying attention to it. So That's
Well,
my
you'd have fixed
excuse,
it by
folks.
June 1st.
What?
I said you would have fixed it by June 1st.
Oh, by June 1st? Yeah, probably. Probably. Well, I'm glad we got it fixed now. Why didn't any of you people write me until now to tell me? Hey, let's let him keep fucking up. Let's see how long old Pops can't get it straight, you know. Yeah, so anyway. But it's now correct, so I'm happy. I'm happy. So anyway, and how are you doing, Josh?
Doing well, thank you.
You went away on a little trip.
I did.
And where did you go? You went to northern New York, right?
Not recently, not.
Oh, I thought you were going there. Where did you go? Oh, you went to Gettysburg? Where did you go?
I didn't go anywhere since March.
Well, wait a minute. You weren't here last week.
Work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well.
I went to work.
I forget what it's like to work and have a job, and that might be the excuse of why you couldn't do it. You know?
Yeah, you spoiled us a couple of weeks ago when you were on every night.
Well, I will be next week but then that'll be a week where I can't call Friday night because I'll work Friday night.
See?
The schedule rotates around, so what you work one week, you don't work the next, and then it starts over.
Well, you used to have a higher level job at your company, right? And
Yeah.
so you made kind of the hours you wanted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. But now that
Okay,
you went
no.
back, you really don't want that responsibility.
Not right now. I mean, maybe they're missing some pieces. I've got a feeling they might ask me to do something, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Well, how do you guys feel this week went for Donald Trump?
Better than I wish.
Really? How do you think it went better for him?
Well, you got the one trial postponed indefinitely. It's supposed to start May 15th or whatever.
He's gotten two postponed.
Yeah.
He's got the documents and the
Yep.
January 6th, both of them.
Yeah. But
He's just
how do you think?
stalling.
Well, you know, he's going to do that. And but I'll tell you something. If he doesn't win for president, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just going to throw all these things at him, and then that's it. You know. So
That's why when he loses, he's going to gin up his fans and have them come out and wreck the country.
well,
January 6th will be a walk in the park.
yeah. But other than that, other than those postponements that have taken place, how do you think his week went for him here in New York?
I don't think he likes Stormy Daniels.
No, of course not.
And next week comes Michael Cohen.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how they're saying, you know, well, you know, Michael Cohen is a what do you call it, a felon or whatever.
Yeah. So you can't believe him.
But nobody ever brings up the fact that what he went to jail for is doing the work for Donald Trump, that Trump is now on trial for, and probably if Cohen was found guilty, he should be found guilty, right? If Cohen served time, he should serve time. But, you know, it's not the case. Not to be. So, what the hell?
You know, I'm on the show. Tony can hear I'm on the show. Said I'm on the show. Tony can hear we're on the show, but yet he starts texting me.
Who started texting you?
Tony, it's time to block him again, especially when I'm on the show.
Well, he can call this show.
Now he says he doesn't have time.
He doesn't have time? But
I don't know.
wait a minute, Tony, you don't have time? To begin with, Tony, it's the same time at my house as it is at your house, and it's 20 minutes past 11. What do you mean you don't have time? Oh, it's all the women you have coming over to your house to have sex with you.
I'm not even going to repeat what he just said.
What did he just say?
Oh, Jesus.
Hmm?
Please don't take too much offense, Tom, but he says, Do they have chinks in heaven? That's one of my questions.
I sure hope so.
Does he mean Chinese food in this case?
I guess. Imagine that's what he meant. That's what he calls.
Haven't
Chinese.
we educated him yet that that isn't the proper term for Chinese food? I mean, when you go out for kosher food, you say we're going out for yids.
Now he says he has time. Can you make up your damn mind, Tony?
Well, that's
An hour ago he texted me, I'm not going to have time. I got models. Yeah, right.
He has what?
Models coming over.
He has models coming over?
That's what I'm confused too. I don't know what that means.
Oh, boy. Anyway.
Nobody calls hookers? I mean, you can't.
Anyway, did you pay any attention to what went on this week with Trump, Josh?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I listened to the news when I was driving home and stuff like that, so I got a fair amount of info. I mean, it's not televised or anything, and I'm certainly not going to read the transcripts for hours and hours, but I got, I heard a good bit of the analysis and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think things obviously went necessarily well for him because there's a good bit of evidence and things like that, but I kind of agree with, some of the people that thought, the whole testimony of Stormy Daniels was a little bit not really necessary.
Yeah.
I personally kind of see it that way. And if I were a juror, I don't know that I would be so put off by it that it would want to make me say not guilty or something like that. But I just didn't really see it as.
Well, the reason.
I mean, I'm not saying that they should have gotten their mistrial and all that kind of. It's not like that. I just kind of saw it as a.
Well, here's where it wasn't. Where it wasn't important, and people don't get it straight. They go, well, she didn't really prove she slept with him. Right. Well, it doesn't matter. That's not what the case is about. She could have lied through her teeth, never slept with the guy. Right. But the fact that he tried to pay her $130,000 to keep her mouth shut is what the entire case is about.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether she had sex with him or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right. I agree. I mean, if he was paying her not to tell a story, any story, that they watched a movie and ate popcorn, it doesn't make any difference.
Exactly.
Because that act in itself was not illegal. No one's alleging it's illegal. No one cares.
And she has not said that she was a victim.
Right.
I think she comported herself, from what I could understand, quite well. You know, she said, no, if you want to say that that he raped me or whatever, and no, nothing of the sort.
Yeah, right.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
But what she wanted out of him, you say, what did she want out of him? All she wanted out of him was to get on The Apprentice.
Yeah, to advance herself.
Me too.
Career-wise and personally, which is the motivation of many people.
Yeah, and she said that eventually he called her and said, I have bad news for you. I can't put you on. Yeah. And she said that's the last time she took his calls. Yeah. That was the only thing she wanted out of the whole thing.
Yeah, which is, not outside the realm of... And no one is alleging that any of that was nefarious, so... I mean, so I didn't really see that as a...
Yeah, but I think they had to do it too. What they had to do was to get to the reason for the $130,000 payment.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they established that pretty well with some other people, I'd heard some people say people with, high credibility that were close to him, like Hope Hicks and others and stuff like that.
But they're not.
I will also say that, to kind of offset that, some of the ways that his defense team went about things with her, I don't really think people will appreciate or buy as much, especially this day and age, when they tried to say things like, well, you're a porn actress. You've been in over 200 movies. That's not necessarily the type of career young girls aspire to. And here you are, a porn actress, and you come out of the bathroom and you're surprised there's a naked man waiting for you. I think we've reached a point in society now where I think that's true, but I think we also all understand that just because I happen to meet a porn actress doesn't mean I have to have the expectation that she's going to have sex with me. So, also that's what she does to make money.
Also, the fact of the matter is, just because she's a porn star doesn't mean that she's going to come out of the bathroom, see him lying naked on a bed or whatever, and not be a bit taken aback by it, because to begin with, it's Donald Trump, and secondly, that wasn't what she was there to do.
Which is pretty much what she said.
Yeah.
But I guess my thinking on it was, I think that we've just got to the point where, like, that to me is just like a 1970s argument.
Well, she had a couple of great answers, though. At one point, they said to her, well, you write porn films, so you know how to write these kind of scenarios. Isn't that what you're doing right now? And she said, if I were to write a movie like this, it would be a hell of a lot better than what happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, that she would have gotten what she wanted in the end, But I just, like, that whole line of questioning, like I said, I just thought that was like, that's a little bit 1970s.
Well, I mean, that was the Trump people asking her those questions.
And
I felt she kind of comported herself pretty well. I mean, she said, I didn't want it. She says, I didn't care. $130,000, I didn't care about that. I cared about getting on The Apprentice.
Right.
So, I mean,
me too.
Huh?
Me too. I auditioned for The Apprentice.
Did you really?
I did. Around the same time as her.
Yeah, but did you blow Trump?
No.
Well, that's why you didn't get on The Apprentice.
He passed through and waved at us.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, all I'm saying is that I think that I agree with you that what happened with her and Trump in Tahoe is not important to the case, except that it then leads to the motivation for them paying her $130,000. That's the only place where it fits in. They've decided, not to put Karen McDougal on the stand, and I think that's fine, because they've already established what happened to Karen McDougal by talking to David Packer, excuse me. Pecker? Yeah. How dare I mispronounce?
Yeah, right. I agree.
The details don't matter.
I mean,
they're just helping Trump win.
It's not that it's not completely, off topic. It's just not. I just didn't see it as necessary, I guess, in my opinion. And I just think, hopefully, it doesn't turn out to be a mistake for him, because, look, prosecutors and, Super Bowl winning coaches, they all make mistakes. It doesn't necessarily always mean they're,
But he had a longer relationship with Karen McDougal. But I think they feel that they've already established the McDougal story and about the catch and kill thing with her. So they don't need to bring her on. It's not important. The only thing she can testify to is that she had a relationship with Trump for that long amount of time.
Was Trump married to Melania when this happened?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I bet that makes her feel real good.
No, in fact, she had, I think she had given birth to Barron 4 months earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's 18.
Yeah,
he just graduated. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff is probably meant more to embarrass him, but it's, today they did an interesting thing. The judge, on the insistence of the defense, ordered Cohen not to give any to do any what do you call it? Putting himself online, saying things and disparaging Trump or whatever, to cease and desist from doing that, which I think he's more than happy to do. But
a gag order can apply to multiple parties. That's fair enough.
Well, he said, I'm throwing a gag order on Cohen not to say anything until after his testimony, which is fine. I don't think Cohen's bothered by that. Trump would be bothered. Trump is bothered by it because he can't shut the fuck up.
Right.
And he doesn't like to be shut up. So,
he doesn't want to be censored.
Yeah. What you're talking about, which bothers you, is probably the sleazier parts of this this narrative, and that I agree with you. It isn't necessary, really, what went on in Lake Tahoe. And she really didn't go into great detail. She just went into detail on how he availed
Yeah,
himself.
it just seemed a little. I mean, it just seems cheap. But I mean,
yeah.
done now.
How many here? Do you feel, Charlie, that are you interested in finding out what happened in that bedroom in greater detail?
No, I don't need to know the detail.
Are any of you? No, I don't think so. But I think there's a good chance a jury, from what I've heard, that's been on, the jury hasn't. I think has heard enough of a narrative that I think they could easily find him guilty of the charge of
Yeah. And they
I
can
think
move on now to the act itself. They've established the basis of the motivation for why. Now it's time to move on to the act or the crime itself. The orchestrating of the payment.
Well, by the way, Bree, we know ahead of time that you're going to feel that he's going to get away with it. Okay, so you don't have to go into that diatribe.
Well, it's not just that; it's that it keeps him in the news cycle.
Well, that's the horrible part.
Yeah.
Again, here we are in another election cycle for president where nobody can keep their mouth shut about Donald Trump.
Yep. Free advertising.
Free advertising.
That's free advertising.
Right.
Billions of dollars worth of free advertising.
That's right.
But you
He will
got
get elected based on that.
Well, you got to realize most of his money's gone to his lawyers. He doesn't have any money to spend on a campaign, and he's probably going to have half the money that Biden's got to run a campaign, and yet he's going to get more free publicity from MSNBC. They may as well just offer him free time for advertising. I mean, that's exactly what they're giving him, and it's too much to put up with again. And the fact is, these people over at MSNBC and to a lesser extent CNN just will not admit to themselves that they got him elected the last time. What do you think, Tom? How do you feel about this? Do you feel that they should shut up about Donald Trump for a while?
No, they really can't shut up about him. But yeah, you're right. His small donors have all dried up on him, and he's going more and more to the big donors. In fact, you probably heard the story about his little dinner at Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of big oil company people, where he said, "Hey, give me $1 million, and I'll repeal all of Joe Biden's climate legislation."
No, what he said basically was he was going to make the world safe for gas guzzling engines, and he was appealing to all the fossil fuel guys. Yeah, because Biden wants to see half of all automobiles produced by 2030 to be electric, and so he said, for $1 million, if you donate $1 million to me, I'll make sure that that thing never sees the light of day.
Well, that's not just cars. That's the Inflation Reduction Act. So we're talking about stoves, heat pumps, things like that. It's all, the whole thing is he's just going to repeal it all.
Yeah,
he's got to sacrifice the planet just for his own ego.
Right.
Yeah, and just blatantly asking for bribes for it.
Well, a couple of nights ago, he had on his day off. You get a day off from the trial. What do you think he should do on his day off from the trial? He probably should go out on the road and give a couple of speeches here and there because he's got some open time, right? That would seem the logical thing for him to do. What did he do with that time? He went down to Mar-a-Lago and hosted a dinner for people who bought every one of his NFTs, which would have cost him about $44,000. And then gave each of them, because they bought all those NFTs, a piece of the suit he wore when he had his mugshot taken.
Okay.
I mean, is there nothing this guy won't sell? You know.
Well, he sells Bibles, so
Yeah.
there's
Well,
nothing he won't sell.
I want one of them Bibles. You know. Oh well. You know, we live in bizarre times, plain and simple. And,
And they're selling a new Trump bear too.
Really?
It's called the Trumpinator, and he's sort of dressed up like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, and the line is "I'll be back in 2024 or something like that."
Gee,
Yeah.
what did I do with
I
my
mean, like-
what did I do with my Trumpy bear? I think I tossed him in a
Trumpy
closet
bear.
somewhere. Yeah. You know, that was enough for me. You know, I just, it's just what has politics become? You know, it's so undignified. It's a big, you know what it is? America. I think the worst thing to happen to America were reality shows. Not because it produced The Apprentice, which then produced Donald Trump, but because to everybody, reality shows, they were called reality shows. They really weren't. In fact, in England, they're very honest when they give that award away. It's called scripted reality. But everybody thinks that's reality. That's really happening. And so now, all Trump has done is he's taken a reality show and created a new one, which is essentially the presidential race. And everybody has to play it like it's a reality show, or they don't win. I mean, that's the kind of mentality we live in at this in this part of history.
I got this last year. Donald Trump.
Got a pencil
What's
sharpener?
he bending down or something? What is that?
He looks like he's on his knees.
Trying to. Well, I don't want to get you demonetized, but it's got a hole.
Oh no! It's a sharpener.
Stick a pin in.
Look like a pencil sharpener.
It's a pin holder.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute. Then that's a
I'm
gag.
thinking of my
gift.
urologist when I see that. all
Then
the
that's a
time.
gag gift, right?
I guess. I hope it's real. It says "Make America Great Again" on the hat.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, somebody gave it to me because they knew how much I liked him.
Yeah. Well, how's everything in Malaysia, Bree?
Going fine.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Not in a restaurant. That's unusual.
What are you doing lately?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't go out today to eat. I guess I've been doing this plant omega breakfast thing, and it's like you put in these 2 scoops, and I end up being very full. I
2
don't even have
scoops
to
of
really
what?
eat lunch.
2 scoops of what?
You want to see it?
No.
Yeah. Is it cereal?
Okay. It's called Plant Omega 23. It's a UK nutritionist developed it, but it's put together here in Malaysia. I got it at this place called the Beacon Resort, which is, we did a day trip there. And so I don't know, it just has a lot of, good ingredients. And I've been drinking that in the morning, so I don't go to, I haven't been going for lunch lately. Like I just eat something very small.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, Alex, I think you're right with, when you say reality. I don't know what scripted reality means. I would understand produced reality.
Well, they call it scripted reality because what they're saying is that they do a show which looks to be real, but really it's got a plot line going for it. I mean, wrestling is scripted reality.
I like wrestling,
You know, they have scripts for those things, you know.
But I mean, when I think of a script, I think of an actor learning a script and then feeding those lines, and that's all of television. I mean, so what's the difference between?
Well, let me give you an example. It doesn't always have to be a script that you write or you read that's been written. A good example would be Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm, which there was never a script for those shows. but there was what we call an outline of what was supposed to happen in a given scene, and then the actors would improvise it with each other. So that you could say that was scripted reality. You know, so.
And Drew Carey's "What's My Line?"
Whose line is it anyway? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a game show.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's not a.
Well, so what would be an example of non-scripted reality, or scripted non-reality?
Non-scripted reality would probably be a really honest election. You know.
But I think it's social media. Most people cannot pay attention for more than 30 seconds to anything at all. And so when Trump gets all this attention, it's just, oh, Trump's in the news, Trump's in the news. A lot of people think, well, he must be very important. And, well, gosh, I see him there all the time. He's used to it. Must be something. I mean, and he was president before. So, okay. Yeah, I don't
well, you
think
know what
people
I've found kind of bizarre? What I've found kind of bizarre is Biden has been railing against TikTok, you know, saying, oh, we got to get TikTok not owned by the Chinese anymore because they're using it for nefarious purposes and so on. And yet, guess who's put himself on TikTok? Biden. So, you know, I guess he knows a good thing when he sees it. You know, are you still there, Tom? I guess. Oh, there he is. Oh, I wanted to make sure.
I'm here. I had to let the dog out.
What'd you do?
Who let the dogs out?
Let the dog out.
Who's your dog walker? Gnome from what's her first name?
It's just she's out in the front yard.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Why would anybody, if they went out and killed a dog, put it in a book, especially when they're thinking of running for political office?
She knew that it would be found out and it would be dredged up and used against her. So
no, she was proud of it. She was proud of it. She put it in a book. She was proud of it. It reminds me, you know, Alex. It reminds me. Remember that old, the old National Lampoon magazine cover where they had, buy this magazine or we'll shoot this dog.
Yeah, right.
It's like Christy, no, buy my book or I'll kill this dog.
Yeah, well, I just it just doesn't seem that if you're a politically savvy person, that's the kind of thing you would put in a book. You know,
you have to preempt the enemies.
Yeah, but who knew that she killed? Who knew that she killed a dog if she didn't tell everybody she knew?
She was trying to be a hard ass, and she was trying to prove to that group that she was a hard ass and she was willing to run with Trump and be a hard ass, and it backfired on her big time. That's all it was.
You don't get any points from anybody, including maybe even Donald Trump, for killing a dog.
But it could have gone the other way, and they would have said, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna want her on here. She doesn't take no shit. She'll kill the dog." That could have gone the other way, too.
She also killed 3 horses.
Yeah, it could have gone the other way, too. You know, some of these nutcases are out there, and they're, you know, well, that's the reality of what happens on a farm, so, you know, she don't hold back, and that's the way it goes.
And
I know people like that.
And what's amazing is that with all this stuff from Kristi Noem, you don't hear a single word from PETA.
Did you hear her dancing around on Face the Nation? It was hilarious.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was hilarious.
No, we know what she was dancing around on. She claimed she met
everything.
She claimed she met Kim Jong-un.
Yeah,
and it turns out she never met Kim Jong-un.
No.
So they said it's been, in fact, her publisher removed it from all future publications of her book because they found it to be a lie.
Right.
And when she was confronted with this on Face the Nation, she kept saying, well, I don't tell you who I've met and what I've talked about to them.
Well,
you know,
that was a perfect Trump answer.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it just follows in the footsteps of where she wanted to go, but sure, she sank into the quicksand.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah, but she got a lot of publicity, but her book didn't sell that well. It is selling, believe it or not, 2 numbers on Amazon behind Paw Patrol.
Oh,
So,
Well, that's not what books are designed to do. They're not designed, and for politics, they're not designed to sell. They're just designed to get you on shows.
yeah, good point. Yes, Alan.
It's also a fundraising thing. Like she'll send
Yeah.
out an email, give me money, and I'll send you an autographed copy of my book.
Is anybody waiting around
Yeah,
to
they can
see
do
the
that too.
auroras? What do they call them?
What?
The northern lights you're supposed to see all the way down to Georgia tonight.
Oh, yeah, solar
Thanks for
activity.
changing the topic abruptly.
Yeah, well, everybody was
Nowhere near
bored
that.
Yeah, they're going to be
Papa's gonna start showing pictures of the dog
what
pooping
it
in the
is,
yard.
and I'm sure Charlie could correct me on this if I'm wrong, is that what's happened is the sun has had solar flares,
Yep.
and the solar flares affect the aurora borealis, and because it is really strong, you can probably see it as far down as they said Alabama or someplace like
Georgia
that,
is
and
what I saw, yeah.
out in California. I haven't looked out my window to see if we can see it from here, but I imagine maybe we could as well. What it will also affect, however, is like your cell phones and so on.
GPS and communications
Yeah, so it could kill that. So,
temporarily.
am I right about that, Tony? Charlie, have I correctly state
Yeah,
what?
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, just that's a burst of energy particles from the sun
Yeah,
striking the Earth's atmosphere now.
yeah. But every now and then, we get a real problem with the solar flares, especially because of our satellite communications, which it has a tendency to affect. So,
Yep.
and Tony, how you doing?
doing okay. I was watching the basketball game actually.
Really?
Yeah. And then I watched the Honeymooners a little bit that episode.
You were not going to come on here because of the honeymooners.
Well, no, I was going to come on. I was just watching
No. You were shining me for the
Jackie.
honeymooners.
He
For-
saves
for-
the dogs in the
He
episode.
was
I was
going to
watching.
have Chinese
The
food,
situation
and,
comedy that's like 60 years old.
I loved it. I was the one when he returns the dog to the pound, Alice's dog, and he says, "What's going to happen to that dog?" Well, after 5 days, they get destroyed. Their time's up. He says, "You're going to kill my dog." So he comes out, Jackie, with like 3 dogs and 2 other ones. He's walking out of the pound, so he's trying to save him.
Okay.
I like that one. Yeah.
yeah. Glad we asked.
Yeah. Jeff, let's find out how you're doing. We should check in with Jeff. Turn on your mic. He must have the tiniest iPad
Yeah,
in
like
the
a
world.
guy.
Small as hell.
Oh, there we go.
There you are.
But here I am. I've been working like crazy.
You've been what?
Working.
Working?
Yeah, at the house.
Washing.
Washing.
No, he's working.
Working.
The
I'm
way he says it in Pittsburgh, it's washing.
it's the same thing. Except that I just got the car is so dirty that I'm cleaning it up.
This is the
Outside
kind of
and
excitement
inside.
we have at our age. Hey, I cleaned the
This
car
is good.
today.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
What else? And I'm exercising.
I'm assuming
Special
Cam is the driver of the car.
Wait a minute, you're exercising?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Well, you were doing some biking or something for a while there.
Well, I got the bike. I've had that out one day ago, and it's all working good. So that's happy. And tomorrow we're going to the Bronx.
Oh, he's going to the Boogie Down Bronx.
And he's from the Bronx.
Yeah.
To see incredibly good flowers.
Do you know why it's called the Bronx? Like we
What
don't
is
call
it,
it
Leonard?
we don't call it the Brooklyn or the Manhattan or the
Right.
Queens. Why do we call it the Bronx?
I never knew that. Why?
Because it was named after a family who lived up there.
I didn't know that.
We're going up to see the Bronx.
The Bronx family.
A little something you never knew, right?
I didn't know that.
Right?
Thank
I'm
you.
from New York. I'm gonna look
Isn't there a cemetery up there named the Trump? Oh.
No, I know no, that's not the cemetery.
Well, that's your only Trump joke for tonight, so we'll have
Yeah,
to give it to you.
It wasn't very good.
By the way, there's no Amy tonight because she's taking the night off since her son is graduating. Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to Amy's son. And then she's on next week, and the week after that, she's taking the week off because she's doing her civil duty.
Yep.
In helping with some elections.
Working the polls.
Huh?
Working the polls.
Working the polls. So if any of you, her normal listeners, want to do her show, let me know, and I'll have you go on and do it.
Oh, his show.
Yeah.
That's at midnight.
How about Tony?
Well, I would have Josh do it, but then I'd have to stay here for a whole hour and kind of be the midway point for the thing to get on the air. So
I think it'd be nice to have Josh do it.
I'm not sure. I think if you hand it over, I could just hang up when I'm done or whatever. But
it's on Skype.
I think so.
Yeah, it's Skype, not Zoom.
You could. Doesn't have to be on Skype.
It doesn't have to be on Skype. You can do it on Zoom for the evening or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about it.
Yeah, it's the week after this one.
Because sometimes I get to the point where I go, Friday night, I don't know if I want to do anything. But Josh is available. Maybe he can host the show for an hour.
Yeah, I'll be off that Friday night. Yeah. Not the next one, but the one after.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah, of that week, not this week. But anyway,
we'll check it out.
Got a couple of minutes left here. Is there anything happening in the world that Israel hasn't Biden tonight? Didn't he say that he feels that Israel has committed what do you call it? International crimes. War crimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crime when somebody attacks you to retaliate.
But it's interesting.
It's a crime if somebody attacks you and you blow up somebody else. Yeah, not the ones that attack
it's a
you.
crime. Okay, I want to ask you this,
we did
Alan.
that.
Just tell me, 1,200 people get killed or kidnapped, okay, by Hamas, and we agree that's a terrible, horrible thing. Okay, how many people should be killed in retaliation for that?
I don't have a number.
You don't have a number? How about 33,000? Does that sound like a good number to you?
No, I don't like them carpet bombing. I don't like them killing civilians, the Israelis.
Well, then, why don't you say I don't like the way they're handling the whole thing?
Oh, well, because it's not up to me and it's not up to Biden either. You know, Netanyahu said
it's up to the World Court in the Hague. It's up to the World Court in the Hague, and they have said they're thinking about coming after Israel. Yeah.
Oh, really? Only after Netanyahu.
Yeah.
After Netanyahu and other people in the Israeli. Well, they have to go after an individual. They can't go after a whole country.
Right. That's right.
After all, I mean, they went after.
They
went after Putin. Putin's, Putin can't ever go to The Hague and not be put in jail. But it seems as though Biden is trying to worm his way out of this situation lately because it's given him a lot of bad press.
Yep.
And costing him vote.
And him changing sides
he's going to lose
now.
Michigan.
Him changing sides to appease the college students that are pro-Palestinian doesn't look good. Both sides of the.
I don't think he's trying to appease the college students at all. I think he's trying to appease Alex Bennett, who's thinking very seriously of not voting for him.
That might be it. You might have got it
because of his not taking a stand on what Israel was doing in Gaza, and just because he's doing now, it's a little late, isn't it?
Yes.
I'd say after the first 10,000 were killed, if he had jumped in, you would have been more appropriate.
I think so.
But I
think he should have stopped bombing from the air at 10,000.
I said this last night, and I'll say it again. I think that the whole concept of why America does not right now go after the Israel rather, is to begin with, they perceive them as being Jews, and believe me, the Americans here who are Jewish are not Israelis. All right, I'm not an Israeli. But there's a concept in their mind that Jews have money, and if I don't go along with the Jews here in America, I'm not going to get their money when I'm running for office.
I don't know. The 3 Jews on this show are okay money.
3 Jews on this show can't afford to give, you know. But you get what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of an anti-Semitic attitude.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Huh? What?
What?
Yeah, I understand where you're
Anti-Arab
coming
speaking
from.
attitude.
Wait a minute. Wait, Tony was trying to say something. What, Tony?
Oh, it's okay. You could let Bree go, because I said I can understand where you're coming from on that point, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think that there's a certain anti-Semitism involved in that, because it's an idea that the Jews have money and they could hurt your election if you don't go along with them. He doesn't realize that a lot of Jews in America now are not very happy with what's going on in Gaza in their name. You know?
Can I ask the question to Alan and you guys too? Like Netanyahu, what's the end game? They should ask Netanyahu. When does it end? What's the end game here? How do you know when you're victorious? I mean,
when he can bulldoze when he can bulldoze Gaza into the ocean. That's the end game for him. He doesn't care about these people, civilians or otherwise, and that's unfortunate.
Oh, and the longer he can keep this ball in play, the longer it's going to take before they're going to go after him for crimes of his own in Israel.
Right. He's got to get in line behind Putin.
Well, it's kind of like the reason why Trump is running for office. He's running for office to stay out of jail.
Yeah, I mean,
yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's.
I just would like Netanyahu to stop arbitrarily killing civilians.
Yeah, but he's not going to, and he's not listening.
Go in with foot patrols and surgically remove Hamas. You don't need to kill all the other people in the process.
Well, you know, they say, well, we bombed the tunnels and so on. Where do you think the hostages are being kept, among other places?
Well, you know, but Hamas hasn't released the living hostages that are left, and they continue every day firing missiles.
How do we know they're alive by now? They could have been bombed by Israeli bombs.
I guess we don't. They could have been shot and killed by Hamas too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's sad. It's just sad. Every night I see the pictures of the children, the babies.
Well,
I don't even watch that part of the news.
But please don't forget that all those kids who are in trouble could have gone to other companies right up the street, not Israel, but another place.
Oh, well, yeah, but Israel told them.
Called all these Muslims. Why don't they
Israel
take
told
care
them
of
a
it?
few weeks ago, go to Rafah. It's going to be safe there. We're not going to bomb Rafah. And now guess what they're bombing? In other words, they keep telling them to move to places where they then turn around and bomb.
The trouble is, it's not just the civilians moving, it's Hamas moving too.
What?
How many of you have lived in the Middle East?
Hamas is moving with the civilians.
How many of what?
I'm just curious, how many of you have lived in the Middle East and have Palestinian friends? Like you could call them on the phone right now.
I've never lived in the Middle East, but I have some Palestinian friends.
And I've always been a friend of Palestine's. I don't know any Palestinians, but I've always felt they should have their own, their own state. That's it. Yeah, plain and simple. From the very beginning, for the last 40 years of my life, I believe that.
I've been to Israel twice.
Hey, the music is playing.
Yeah.
The theme. I think it's called a theme. It's called a theme, is what it's called. And we do it. And there's no Amy tonight, by the way, in case anybody.
But we should continue for a while.
Huh?
we should continue for a while since Amy's not on.
No, because I'm tired.
The bonus edition.
I've been up since 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh, boy.
Cold in New York.
Oh, that's right. You had your executive dental service.
My,
Oh, yeah,
$2,000 to Scarsboro
Oh, man.
and $150 dental procedure.
That's right, right. You know, I have.
Well, at least you can afford it.
Hate the dentist.
I
though.
had pickup service by my
heard-
dentist today.
Nice.
Anyway,
I'm surprised they couldn't do the work while they were driving.
Hey, Alex.
What?
Alex, now you got money to come to Malaysia,
Yes, I do.
I don't know. Is it safe?
and you can stay in a hotel. I don't have to put you up.
Anyway, thank you so much, Alan, for being here tonight. Charlie, glad you can stay awake. I know you can get a, you know.
I got it early too. I had a doctor's appointment. So
See?
Noon.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, my friend. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. It doesn't affect the rest of you, what I'm talking about. Tom Yamaguchi, lovely seeing you and the puppy as well.
He's a dog walker?
Although I have to admit to you that Adrian is just a little bit cuter. But that's, you know.
He has more hair.
Thanks to Jeff. I appreciate it, Jeff. And thanks to Bree, all the way from Malaysia tonight. And Kevin, thank you so much tonight. And finally, Tony, it's a wonderful thing to have you here. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. That's our show for this week. We'll see you Monday with the pop-up show on Facebook. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you also a week from now. I think the theme's going to run out here any second. I'll see you right back here also next Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.